Hey friends, if you know me, and it would be weird if you did since this is my first video, then you know that I adore Eevee. It's such an amazing Pokemon and my all-time favorite. I know I'm not alone when I say I love Eevee. How can you not try using it at least once when it can evolve into many different Pokemon with very different stats? Like a water type Vaporeon with high HP, or a dark type Umbreon with high special defense. Eevee is also a big part of the Pokemon branding, so it's essentially impossible to be a Pokemon fan and not hear about Eevee. However, it's mostly Eevee itself that's a big name for the brand. Whether the eeveelutions are popular, or rather which eeveelutions are popular, is up to the Pokemon fanbase. Not all eeveelutions are loved the same because of this, especially when it comes to usability. Because of all that, there's one eeveelution in particular that isn't as popular as the rest. Flareon. Sure, it's a Kanto Pokemon, and it's part of the only eeveelution trio. However, how often do you hear about Flareon being used on any team? I've never even seen a person use Flareon in a main series Pokemon game. It's a bit strange how different the love for Flareon is compared to the rest of the eeveelutions. In this video, I'm going to answer why Flareon isn't that popular and what its glaring flaw is. So what's up with Flareon? After all, it isn't uncommon to see the other eeveelutions being used in playthroughs. And looking at Flareon's stats, it isn't weak by any means, so its stats can't pose a problem. Well, actually it can. You see, other than evolving from Eevee, all of the eeveelutions have one other thing in common: their stats. Now obviously they don't have the same exact stats, but they're distributed in the same way. Their best base stat total is 130, second place is 110, third is 95, fourth is 65 in two different stats, and their worst stat is at 60. This goes to show how many different ways you can utilize Eevee, as it can evolve into 8 different Pokemon that distribute these stats differently. But like I mentioned earlier in the video, you don't see Flareon being used a lot. And the short answer for that is because its stats don't exactly align with its move pool. Flareon has 130 in its attack stat. That is an amazing offensive stat to have, but not so much for a pure fire type for a few reasons. First off, Flareon was introduced in Generation 1. That was during a time where types were assigned to physical or special categories. Fire was a special type, meaning Flareon couldn't use any stab physical fire type moves. It wouldn't be until Generation 4 that the physical special split happened. Kanto was remade in Generation 3, so Flareon still couldn't use stab physical fire type moves. Now, I know what you're thinking. Wouldn't Flareon be more usable in later generations as more moves got added? The answer is kinda. It's still hard to use. It's not Flareon's fault that it's a pure fire physical attacker when the series has almost no physical fire moves. As of Generation 9, the only stab physical moves Flareon have are Fire Fang and Fire Blitz. One has 65 base power and the other does recoil damage. Flareon was at its prime in ORAS all the way to Sword and Shield because it had access to the move Superpower, which is definitely useful for a 130 physical attacker. But for some bizarre reason, Generation 9 removed Superpower for Flareon, which is really bad considering Flareon's 130 physical attack stat plus Superpower would have made it an amazing choice for a fighting type terrestrialization. Now this brings up another question. Why does Flareon have 130 in its attack stat? It makes way more sense for it to be a special attacker. Well, the reason for that is simple. In Generation 1, special attack and special defense were just one stat called special. That means if Flareon had 130 in its special stat, then it would have had 130 in both special attack and special defense, which is completely broken. I think that Game Freak wanted to present the fire type as an all-out offensive typing, giving Flareon 130 in its attack stat. However, I strongly believe that if Flareon was introduced in a later generation, then it definitely would have gone 130 in its special attack. But now Flareon is kind of stuck here with little usage in normal playthroughs. Worst of all, it hasn't gotten any special treatment to help it. In fact, Flareon is the only Kanto fire type to not get any special treatment at all. Charizard is... well, Charizard, the Vulpix line, Growlithe line, and Ponyta line all got regional variants, and Magmar got both a pre-evolution and a new evolution, a cool one at that. Now obviously, it doesn't make sense for Flareon as an eeveelution to get more special treatment. If Flareon gets special treatment, then so do the rest of the eeveelutions. But at this point I'm counting special treatment as anything that helps Flareon. Nothing big has to happen to the Pokemon itself. All that needs to happen is for Game Freak to add a bunch of new physical fire type moves. That way Flareon has more use. And sure, 95 special attack isn't bad at all, so you could definitely put one special move in a slot like Flamethrower. But who would do that? Again, 95 special attack isn't that bad, but no one would want to use that when you could tank everything with 130 physical attack. Side note, Flareon's shiny is another reason why it's unpopular. If you have the opportunity to own a shiny Eevee, then you'll think hard about what to evolve it into purely based on its shiny design. There are many great options like a beautiful pink Vaporeon, a vibrant green Espeon, or a transgender Sylveon, and the all overshadow brown Flareon. This Pokemon was done so dirty. Sorry, that kinda turned into a rant, but I just feel really bad for Flareon because I adore Eevee. Like I said earlier in the video, nothing big has to happen. If more physical fire type moves got added that Flareon could use, then it would help it so much. But how do you guys feel? Do you have a Pokemon that you love but was done dirty as well? Let me know in the comments below. By the way, this was my first video for the channel and I really enjoyed making it. I don't have a consistent schedule yet and I'm just making YouTube videos, but I sure will be posting more in the future. Please like the video and subscribe as it helps the channel out, and click the bell to be updated for future videos. I'll see you next time, friends. Bye bye.